Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome once again to the With You For You MSME webinar series presented by Reliance General Insurance and powered by financialexpress.com, celebrating the role played by the MSME sector in India's growth story so far and its expected contribution to India's 10 trillion economy target in the coming years. I am Sandeep Soni, Senior Assistant Editor, FP Aspire at financialexpress.com, and the moderator for the With You For You MSME webinar series, highlighting what it would take for India's MSMEs to break out and emerge on the global scale. Our next webinar is on the topic Survive and Thrive, how insurance can help MSMEs ride India's growth wave. Pandemic, war, climate crisis, fragile global economy, disrupted supply chains, and other major world phenomena over the past few years have hit the business environment with high volatility and unpredictability. Companies worldwide have been grappling with financial pressures, operational challenges, and strategic uncertainties, necessitating greater adaptability, resilience, and innovation to survive and thrive amidst these overlapping crises. In this disrupted global landscape, insurance can provide a critical safety net, particularly for MSMEs, who are often resource constrained. Even as a number of MSMEs still look at insurance as an expense, with insurance penetration among credit-enabled enterprises estimated at around 15% only, entrepreneurs need to look at insurance as one of the critical tools that helps enable business growth amid crisis. In this webinar, we will discuss the myriad challenges involved in taking the insurance penetration deeper into the MSME ecosystem. It would also be interesting to understand the perspective of insurance providers, their challenge in accessing the right MSMEs, as a number of them are not registered or are informal in nature, how to tap into the larger MSME base, etc. In alphabetical order, our first speaker for the webinar is Mr. Jose Jawadwala, Director, Experitus Insurance Brokers. Mr. Jawadwala has been in the insurance profession for over 4 decades. He has predominantly been in the commercial segment across multiple industries. Experience Insurance Brokers focuses on providing tailored solutions to fast-changing business environments. Our next speaker is Ms. Megha Maharana, Business Head Commercial Lines at Policy Bazaar for Business. Ms. Maharana has experience in strategic partnerships with a demonstrated history of working in the insurance industry. Our next speaker is Mr. Sanjeev Gujral, founder and CEO, Goodex Insurance Brokers. Mr. Gujral has over 25 years of experience in India's non-life insurance industry with a wide-ranging experience in a government-owned general insurance, private general insurance, a multinational broker, and also been instrumental in obtaining broking license along with setting up entire POSP platform for one of the largest auto portal companies in India prior to starting his own venture. Joining us next is Mr. Suman Chaudhary, Executive Director, Head Research and Chief Economist, Equity Ratings and Research, with an aggregate experience of around 28 years in credit ratings, research, and risk. Mr. Chaudhary currently oversees the research function at the company and is also the Chief Economist of the company. In his earlier role, he has been the Chief Analytical Officer of the company. He has held leadership roles in ICRA and CRISIL before joining Equity Ratings. Thank you, Mr. Jawadwala, Mr. Gujral, Mr. Chaudhary, Ms. Maharana for taking out time and joining us today.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Mr. Chaudhary, I'll come to you first since you're talking about the overall global issues and concerns surrounding the business ecosystem. So beginning with, I'd like to understand from you how small businesses or how MSMEs should look at risk assessment. How should they conduct a risk assessment in their business to determine what could be the right or appropriate coverage required in their business, and what could be a different type of risk involved in business, especially the MSMEs in today's day and age, sir?
Yeah, sure. So thank you, Sandeep. It's a privilege to be in this webinar and talk about the importance of insurance, especially for MSMEs. So your question on risk assessment, this is what we have seen through our experience in rating over 50,000 MSMEs, especially as SMERA, which is our subsidiary, which is into SME ratings. that tells us that the assessment, which is typically done by the promoters or the management of these businesses, that's not completely adequate.
Correct.
The typical approach that most of the SMEs have, and I'm referring to businesses, which are less than, let's say, 50 crore turnover in particular, which are small and, micro and small, particularly small businesses, where we see that the focus of the owners or the promoters are on the business, on how to, kind of get their business in a very competitive environment. And they don't typically focus as owners on the risks, that much. They internally they will be aware of what risks are there. But if you ask if there is a formal risk framework, do they take steps to mitigate some of the risk? Probably very few do that.
Okay.
And even, the control finance functions, sometimes they are managed by not a very professional team, and sometimes they're outsourced to advisors and audit firms. That's a typical structure in a small enterprise, right? So naturally, I think they don't have the bandwidth or the willingness also to think about the risk management framework, right? I think in India it is too early for them to kind of look at that. But it is also very important that small businesses are protected against some of the risks that you talked about, and increasingly globally, let's say, and in India particularly, climate risk is a big factor. Is increasingly proving to be a recurrent factor. You see persistent cases of flooding or some natural disasters, which are impacting the SMEs in a disproportionate way. The reason is that they don't have adequate coverage. They probably have not covered. They are not covered with insurance, required insurance very adequately, as compared to the larger, let's say, for example, the manufacturing units. We have a manufacturing unit in a flood-prone area. It's very likely the losses suffered by the SMEs will be far higher because their of the protection is less. So, this is where the issue is that I think today the extent of coverage that the SMEs have, that needs to improve for any adverse events. Now, I talked about climate or weather-related events. Another is, for example, relevant thing is technology risk, or let's say hacking. So I am aware of companies, small businesses, which have lost their whole data because of hacking, right? And they are not covered against that kind of risks. So I think these are the issues that the business owners have to look into, along with the support of let's say, the insurance companies and other stakeholders, because from a credit perspective, I think the banks, rating agencies, definitely banks, lenders, they would increasingly look at the ability to handle such disruptions. If such disruptions lead to, let's say, stoppage of business or a major disruption in business, then it is not a very comforting situation for lenders, and which affects their credit rating or their credit worthiness.
Not a very comfortable situation. Ms. Maharana, I'll come to you with a thought from Mr. Chaudhary. Risk assessment is one challenge. Integrating insurance into that broader risk management plan perhaps is another challenge. How do you think, MSME should look at, both the things? First, having a risk management plan, and then integrating insurance, ensuring understanding it in, probably plugging that into, the overall plan of managing their risks.
Okay, so thank you for having me on this webinar and choosing me for this topic. So first of all, we need to find it out that integrating insurance into broader risk management plans. What are the things available? So like risk assessment, risk analysis, risk
Mm-hmm.
management strategy development, legal and compliance, financial stability, continuity of the business, cash flow protection, risk mitigation, risk transfer. So all these things, we have to keep in mind. Also,
Mm-hmm.
it is very important for MSME to select the insurance selection and while purchasing it, so they need to select insurance that is aligned with the identified risk, and they need to
Mm-hmm.
see the broader risk management strategy as well. So working with
Mm-hmm.
insurance broker advisor who can suggest them a best coverage options and the negotiated terms, that is also very important. So they need to integrate their operational plans as well. So they need to see that operational risk, what are the operations risk involved, and they need to continuous monitor their all the insurance risk and plans time to time. Training and communication is also very very important for them, considering it's a
Correct.
small business. And one very important thing that need to see that their damage, brand importance, reputation, and customer complaints, because these are a very small MSME. So poor
Absolutely.
customer servicing will lead into dissatisfaction as a loss of the customer. By
Mm-hmm.
integrating into insurance broader risk management plans, and business can create a more resilient and adaptability for the strategy and managing risk. So
Yeah.
integrations ensure the financial protection which is aligned with other risk management
Mm-hmm.
measures, and I think leading into a robust comprehensive approach will
Mm-hmm.
mitigate the risk and continue the business.
Interesting point, Mr. Gujral. I'll come to you. In all this discussion, I think MSMEs are always concerned about costs, whether it's insurance or any other priority area in the business. How do you see, the need and strategies for MSMEs to not just manage but also, reduce the insurance costs? How it can be looked at, Mr. Gujral?
Hi all. Thanks, Sandeep, for having me on the webinar. Spot on. You very well said that cost is an issue. Being a small, entity, insurance is always seen as an expense. We discussed
Yeah.
this when we started this conversation. So, ideally, I personally feel that the insurance companies, should design some risk management mechanism, rather standard risk management mechanism according to the industry. Say for a cloth cotton industry, one typical standard risk management philosophy, and for maybe as I said, textile, cotton, and for auto manufacturing, for plastic, for oil, for chemicals. They should have some standard risk management practice which should be cost effective. Because initially, the two challenges: one, the insurance when they buy, they are unaware of the sum insured, the values they take. Secondly, when
Mm-hmm.
they go for risk management, they don't understand the importance of risk management because the entire focus is on sales growth, and
Yes.
fortunately, due to very very minimal losses, still the industry feels that the loss could not happen to them.
Mm.
But for large organizations, obviously, it's of key importance. For small enterprises, I think the insurance industry should design one standard risk management practice. They should
Mm-hmm.
offer customized products. Now the
Mm-hmm.
market is free from 1st April 2024. Insurance
Mm-hmm.
companies are not bound now by terms. They can very well tailor-made, structure considering the sum insurance and the cost and the geographical area where the MSME is built in. Say for our hilly area, they should focus on the AOG panels more. For a area like Delhi, they should focus more on fire, and other related perils. So hand in
Mm-hmm.
hand, both should be looked upon: risk management vis-a-vis cost effectiveness and creating more awareness among this. Lastly, I think the insurance company should use platform to go to these MSME forums and make sure that they do some awareness sessions on risk
Mm-hmm.
management, reducing premium, enhancing coverage, having appropriate coverages. One is taking coverage, one is having an
Yeah.
appropriate coverage.
Mm.
Yeah, I think
Mm-hmm.
this all
Okay.
should be taken care. I should
I think
personally think
one
so.
more point which I would like to add here is
Yeah.
like bundling the policies. like considering multiple insurance policy with same provider. That will also
Mhm.
help because MSME ticket size is very low. Hence, if you
Mhm.
bundle lots of policy with one insurer, it will give an
Mhm.
insurers a leverage to offer better discount. Shop around,
Mhm.
properly compare your quotes, negotiate with the insurance company properly in first go. And then when you choose
Mhm.
a company, go with that company for all your other products as well. So that is also, help
Understood.
them to reduce the insurance cost.
I
Mhm.
just had one couple of points, Sandeep, on this
Yeah,
cost aspect.
sure.
I think truly, I was in one of the industry associations, and we had a webinar exactly on similar issues where
Mhm.
insurance was also discussed.
Okay.
And one of the aspects that came clearly from the SME owners was that the cost is high for insurance and it is not
Correct.
affordable. I think I agree with what Sanjeev says, and we also raised it then, is
Mhm.
that typically the SMEs look at it as just an additional expense. They
Mhm.
need to look at it more as an investment towards securing the continuity of their business or an essential part of risk management.
Mhm.
So that change in mindset is definitely one of the aspects that has to be brought in. So this is from the
Mhm.
SME's perspective. Now, from the
Mhm.
from the insurance sector's perspective, I think as we are discussing, there is a scope for a lot of innovation, which can
Mhm.
bring about costs. I think Megha talked about pooling, which can be one important way. The whole point is how can costs be made more, in premium be made more affordable, and is there any way also, let's say, some kind of kind of a pooling, for example, it is like typically the concept of, let us say, a family or a health insurance, the way it works,
Mhm.
when you pool in a diverse set of people, the health plans,
Mhm.
something similar, if that can be
Okay.
worked out by the insurance companies for
Okay.
SMEs. I think
Okay.
then probably it can bring down premium. So definitely there
Premium.
is scope
Okay.
for some innovation and bring down the costs.
Okay. Mr. Jawadwala, scope for some innovation. How we can innovate in terms of reducing the cost for premiums for MSMEs?
Yeah, thanks, Sandeep, for inviting us for this webinar. Uh, One very big initiative the Maharashtra state government has taken, and which will go a long way in reducing, that is having compulsory insurance for all the MSME. Now
Mhm.
that will create a lot of I mean, the numbers will increase, and in insurance it is very common that the moment numbers increase, the price comes down. So
Mhm.
they are very much looking at giving a standardized product and making it compulsory when you're renewing your licenses, whether it is for a shop, whether it is for a unit or whatever it is. So they are making it a compulsion. It's in the pipeline. It is still not gazetted, but it's very much at an advanced stage. So that would go
Mhm.
a long way in, mitigating a lot of this cost factor, not knowing about it. So we have seen this in either in various other markets. When the once it becomes a compulsion, when it's a regulation, like for
Mhm.
example, in Europe, when they import even cotton shirts, they have
Mhm.
to take product liability because it's
Mhm.
a compulsion. That's the reason now that the whole of Europe talks about product insurances. While in India, because it's not mandatory, people talk about it only for academic purposes.
Mhm.
They know about it, but nobody buys because there's a factor. Now, in
Yeah.
the moment all importers in Europe have to insure, the cost again becomes equilibrium. There's an equilibrium created
Mhm.
in terms of pricing.
Mhm.
So many a times the insurance, when the government agency makes it mandatory, it helps a lot for both the insurance industry as well as the insured. So that is one way which will really help.
Mhm.
Even currently, it is happening. Like Maharashtra government is uh, declared that each family would be covered for 5 lakh rupees,
Mhm.
for which the government will be paying, and beyond that, certain top up will be given, which will come at a very economical price. So because again, the advantage is coming is because of large numbers. They are talking of covering Maharashtra around 12.6 crores families. So this is one big way a government can push and help. The other issue, so this is the major way where, where we can find, and government is taking steps towards that part now.
Mr. Chaudhary, I'll come back to you, sir. Innovation you touched upon, Mr. Javadwala also touched on the government side. What are the different things in terms of innovation the government and insurance company can probably explore to for deeper penetration of insurance among you?
So I think Mr. Jawadwala spoke about, I think, some suggestions. We will have to, I'm sure the MSME ministry will deliberate on this, and there will be more kind of measures that will be taken, hopefully with the support of the industry associations. So yeah, that is going to be there. I think the main point here is how do you really make sure that more SMEs come forward and take adequate insurance coverage. I think that that part is very, very important, because as the numbers go up, it becomes more viable. Probably, I think the insurance experts will be able to say this better, but logically it becomes more viable for the insurers to kind of bring down the charges. So it all depends on the kind of volumes they are able to get. And that is where I think the associations, the government, they should come out with some policies and measures to make the SMEs participate in at least in some basic insurance coverage.
Understood. Ms. Maran, I'll come to you with the same question. How insurance companies can address or are addressing these new and emerging risks through some innovative insurance solutions for MSMEs?
So I think first of all, personalization of insurance product is very, very important. As one of our panelists, Mr. Jawadwala, mentioned that Maharashtra government has taken some initiatives, and compulsion of the buying compulsory insurance is done in few of the things, like 5 lakh rupee of cover is mandatory. Like if you see motor insurance, why motor insurance? Everybody is buying because they know if they go on a road without the motor insurance, there is a penalty they have to pay as a challan. So let's say, suppose if we want to boost out in this industry, MSME ko hame badhana hai karke, and for that, I think there are some insurance policies which should be mandatory for them. So one, personalization of the insurance product is important, and then like simple policies like DNO, which will cover their risk, credit insurance, these kind of products. If we say that it is mandatory to buy, because MSME, what they do is they look at a cost first. If they say that cost is higher, then they say, "Acha, theek hai, let's leave this part. Let me come back to this later on. First of all, I need to take care of few other things," and somewhere insurance takes a back seat. So I think compensation of few products like credit insurance or DNO policy, personalization, embedded insurance. Insurance companies can make some micro insurance product with the short-term needs, with designed a specific product, taking care of the gig economy, catering to that, and undeserved markets. So I think these all kind of things, if has to be done, it's good. Like in COVID-19 pandemic, what happened? Like health insurance demand raised, and everybody was buying health insurance, and suddenly, since everybody was at home, they were not renewing their motor policies because they thought that we need not to go out. There is no accident which is going to happen. There is no challan which is going to be issued. So the motor industry got down, and then this health industry was boosting up. As soon as COVID period has gone, health industry again got a dip, and motor industry again took a front seat. So somewhere I think insurance is, we agree that insurance is a push business. Insurance is a business of somewhere if we get a threat inside, this is going to happen, we buy insurance. So I think compulsion of this thing has to be done. People have to understand that what are the risks they should take. Proper education behind that, that's also very, very important. to give them a proper adequate amount of knowledge about that why you need to take this. Do not take that, so what people think, oh, insurance bechne aa gaye. So that kind of a mindset, I think, has to
Yeah.
somewhere
Yeah.
take a
Mindset.
backseat. And yeah.
Correct.
Sandeep, I just
No, no,
wanted to
yeah.
add to Megha, and I feel what she mentioned is very relevant. So
Yeah.
just one part is, for example, the health insurance. Like for example, all large companies will have health insurance for their employees. Now,
Yeah.
purely from an employee's welfare point of view and governance, or you can say good governance point of view, it's very important that there is adequate coverage of health insurance for employees, right? I think here the SMEs don't have that good a track record, as I understand. So this is where I think some policy measures are necessary, especially SMEs which employ a certain number of people. So there can be policy directions which can be considered to ensure that adequate health policies are taken. That's a very fundamental thing. It's related to the quality of life of citizens, and especially that we shouldn't forget that SMEs, employ a lot of people. I think there are many estimates, but 10, 12 crores I hear of employees in the SME sector itself in overall India. So that's one point. The second point also, I think what Megha alluded to is credit insurance, or what we call trade insurance. So SMEs, many of them, they don't have very large kind of customers, right?
Yeah.
They can have, but sometimes they do work with traders. They work with some importers in other countries. So naturally, there are counterparty risks that they deal with, which can, kind of, if there is kind of non-payment of certain orders, it can completely disrupt businesses. So it's very critical for SMEs to have adequate trade insurance. I think this is where I believe
Very
the
valid point.
insurance companies should also focus as a product.
Insurance company should focus. Okay. Mr. Gujral, so Miss Marana, she talked about, the mindset part. Mr. Mr. Chaudhary talked about, the incentive from the insurance companies to, so do you think insurance companies have enough incentives, to reach out to the MSMEs? Uh, Primarily because, I'm not sure, premiums collected from MSMEs are perhaps low. So both on the mindset part and what more insurance company you need to have in terms of the incentives to reach out to these MSMEs. What can be done, sir, in on these two aspects?
So the first thing, I think the insurance should be created as need for SMEs rather than just ask them to buy. First of all, we need to make them understand, the owners of SMEs, MSMEs, that it is a need in case of any incident, bad incident, fire, or an act of violence. But this is the basic thing. I think we need to create that, because once we just push the product, we see that no, you should get covered. That will happen. This will happen. It won't work, to be honest. Making mandatory, it's very difficult and challenging. I understand in motor we have done mandatory things for 5 years for two-wheeler and 3 years, or third party they will go for initial insurance, but then for SME, making them a mandatory is not easy on the ground, to be honest. So I think going back, we should connect with the associations, SME associations. We should, as an insurance company or even brokers, should actively engage in their sessions, monthly or quarterly, whenever they have meetings sessions. We should take an hour or 2 hours, make them understand the importance of insurance, show them some live examples which has happened in last 5 to 10 years, where the company was doing fairly well, and because of taking a very minimal sum insurance or no insurance, in case of the eventuality, they just gone bust. By examples, one is that you just speak up things, you tell them. One is you come with the data. And again, I'm emphasizing we should make tailor-made products for industry-wise. They should feel that yes, these products are made specifically for our industry, textile, chemical, plastic, automobile, whatever. And since if it is a standard product, sometimes it does not create or create a sense for the buyer on that segment that it is it's a general product available. But once
Yeah.
you do like in auto manufacturing, if you emphasize only on product liability, and especially when they're exporting, then they can understand what kind of liabilities they can have in case of default in the products sold in within and outside India. And as one of the panelists said, very well said, that great credit, it's a big challenge because in pandemic we saw a lot of companies going burst. It was not that they were not intending, but since they were in losses, the business has gone. They were
Yeah.
unable to pay their partners. So the trade definitely policy is very important. So in short, the focus should be to create awareness, make them buy.
Okay.
Yeah, I think
Understood. Understood.
this should work.
Okay.
May take
I think
some
I
time,
would
but this should work.
Yeah.
I would like to
Yeah.
add here. So, as I mentioned earlier as well, that MSME should give the entire business, if possible, to one insurance company, because then it will, allow that company to give them a bundles of product, or good amount of different products can be given. So, the first of all, so insurance company has to understand the market size and potential of the entire industry. That what is the potential of this. Also, long term growth is also one of the thing which insurance companies should see. That's, small business can potentially grow into large enterprises. So by establishing a relationship at a very early age can give them a
Yes.
privilege to get the increased business overall. as
Correct.
as the company will grow, the insurance premium will grow, and maybe my profits also will be growing by day. Also, we should look at a cross sell opportunities. So if MSME will give the entire business to one insurance company, then insurance company will have an opportunity to do cross sell of the products with one. So I think by doing 3 4 activities like long term growth, market size potential, uh, cross selling of the product, giving one business to one insurance company, will actually incentivize the insurance company to reach out MSME, and they can see it in a larger picture.
Very interesting. Mr. Jawadwala, I'll come to you, sir. So overall, the aspect of financial stability we discussed, so far through insurance, which can help, in terms of coverage and mitigating potential losses and liabilities. I think what Ms. Maharana also talked about, the relationship aspect. So understanding insurance as a way, to build trust and confidence, with stakeholders in business can help MSMEs also, gain a competitive advantage in the market. How do you see this?
Ideally, what the insurance company should also think about is that MSCs don't have the wherewithal to understand their terminologies. I'll give you a very simple example is average clause, which is there, adequacy clause, which they call it as. Now, for a normal SME to understand that concept is very difficult. So ideally, what they feel is, if I'm insured for 5 lakhs and my loss is 3 lakhs, I should get full 3 lakhs, irrespective whether I have 20 lakhs of stock or I have 20 lakhs value. Now, this is if insurance company can think about giving on a first loss basis, the claim settlement will become very smooth and easy. And once others see that ease of getting claim, more and more people will come into taking more policies. This is one very basic thing an insurance company should look at. Rather than having more and more products, have this, there are n number of products available, but when it comes to implementation and claiming, it's a big task. It's a big task. Like, even for example, when there is a claim, there's a big issue of salvage. There's a whole process has to go with delays. And the insured feels that I have a claim and 6 months I'm still running behind you for claim. Now that 6 months has to come down to 6 days. That will be the time when people will start coming and buying insurances. So what happens is, invariably, in the business scenario, it takes a very long time for claiming. So this is one aspect of insurance which should see how to ease that the terms of the policy and how to implement it at a lightning speed. That will help for more people to buy insurances.
So along with ease of doing business, I think we need ease of claims also. Ms. Marana, I'll come to
Absolutely.
you. particularly on this aspect, if you would like to highlight ease of
So,
thing.
see, as Sir said that, insurance is it's a relationship business, and
Uh-huh.
insurance is not a risk management tool. It's not completely a risk management tool. It is also a strategic asset that build trust
Mm-hmm.
and confidence with the stakeholders. I think by
Mm-hmm.
demonstrating the financial responsibility, ensuring compliance, protecting investments, I think enhancing the business continuity, it contributes significantly in the stakeholder confidence. And
Mm-hmm.
I think operating comprehensive insurance, business strategy in the essential long-term success will add more trust to it and give a more confidence to the stakeholders in the business.
Interesting. Mr. Chaudhary, so how do you look, this entire space of MSME insurance uh, from the lens of, terms and conditions, which Mr. Chawadwala also pointed out. How MSMEs, can negotiate, favorable terms and conditions with insurance providers? Is there a way?
So I think maybe I can give my views, but it all
Sure.
depends on how MSMEs want to take it and have a meaningful dialogue with
Yes.
the insurance companies.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that the associations. There are many SME associations, as you
Mm-hmm.
know, in different parts of the country. I think the associations are important stakeholders. They just kind of bring in a lot of their members all together, where all this meaningful dialogue can happen. So I think that's one way where you ensure on from the association side, you ensure a certain level of participation, a certain level of participation of SM minimum coverage, and on the other
Mm-hmm.
side, the insurance companies also commit to competitive kind of charges and also good claim servicing. I think the point that Mr. Jawadwala mentioned, that's
Mm-hmm.
very important. I think irrespective even of whether it is SME, retail, I think it's very important for the insurance companies to maintain their claim servicing at a certain standard,
Correct.
and that can really build trust and which will get reflected in their business.
Mm-hmm. Mr.
I
Gujral,
would like
your
to
thoughts on
add
this?
here, Sandeep.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So actually, MSME should trust brokers. So we are the
Okay.
experts. We
Mm-hmm.
know that which coverage is required, mandatory to give, because we handle lot of MSMEs. So business categorization we can do that. This category of business need this type of insurances. This category need this type of insurance. So first of
Mm-hmm.
all, they should consult and trust a broker. By doing a categorization of a insurance product, we can give them a bundle of the various
Correct.
products.
You talked
So
about.
we can access their insurance need. We can do a research behind that. Acha, this insurance is required. So this, we can understand their policy details better. We can
Mm-hmm.
go to multiple insurance companies, and we can collect the quotes from them rather than
Mm-hmm.
going directly to insurance company. They'll be ending up searching one or two insurance company. One insurance company will not have X product, they will not offer that X product to them. Whereas,
Mm-hmm.
if they come to broker, we know that this product is cheaper with this insurance company, or this product is better in terms of coverages with this insurance company, and we can design the product for them. Very
Mm-hmm.
important thing is that since we say that they are low on the cost, insurance company could should give them a flexible payment terms. So that is what is missing, because as soon as we go to insurance company and say that give us 4 EMIs or 5 EMIs, they charge extra.
Yeah.
I understand that they get a premium at the first hand, they invest that into that. But if we are talking about especially MSME, that market is growing, that market is not a very cash rich market. So and by categorizing into two, MSME and the large corporates, insurance companies should look at a flexible payment terms as well. And obviously, as I mentioned, then they can leverage those relationships, giving them a initially some comfort will give them a long term relationship, and they can recover all those costs later on when the MSME is growing and in a good position to do a business. So that's
Long-term
one.
relationships, yeah. Mr. Gujral, long-term relationships, according to you, how an MSME or insurance company can establish the relationship?
Relationship is obviously it's a commercial relationship. So you
Yeah.
need to understand that insurance companies has to ensure that they offer the cheapest premium, the lower premiums, I would say, the most comprehensive product. And
Mhm.
as Meena rightly said, if possible, maybe in 2, 3, 4 installments without topping it up with additional premium. And the confidence level of the SME will be much more when at a time of claim, insurance company pays the claim reasonably and on time. And if and with full transparency, if there is any deduction because
Yeah.
of policy terms and conditions, the insurance company must explain, and ensure that the SMEs is fully satisfied. It's not that
Mhm.
just saying that this is a deduction. They should actually explain in detail the deduction and gain the confidence. On a long term, insurance companies should ensure, as I emphasized earlier, also on bringing up tailor-made products, need-based products for each SMEs as per their requirements. And on the side of SME, they should ensure that they do not shop around every year, to get lower premiums. The continuity has to be on both sides. Needless to mention, insurance company is far more expert in this area, and rightly said that they should use the services of an intermediary, maybe a broker or any other intermediary who understands insurance more than SME, and it would be much more do justice, by bringing the comparison, from other companies as per their requirement.
Okay, understood. Okay, so then my next question is open to everyone. Any of you can comment. So MSMEs, till I think government survey of 15-16, there were around 6 crore odd MSMEs in India, non-incorporated MSMEs in India. Since then, there has been no survey on total MSME count in the country, which I'm sure must have more than doubled. So even if by a rough estimate, there is around 10, 12, or 13 crore MSMEs in India, according to the government data, there are only 4.5 crore registered MSMEs. When I say registered, not just shop and establishment license, but also MSMEs which are registered with the MSME ministry, which leaves us to more than half of the MSME units still being unincorporated or non-form or informal in nature. In such a situation, do insurance brokers and companies, which are, I mean, the overall stakeholders in the insurance ecosystem, is there a challenge for the insurance providers in reaching out the right MSMEs? Because, like I said, more than half of them are not registered. So how we can tap into the larger MSME base? Mr. Chaudhary, anyone, Mr. Gujral, Mr. Wadwala, Ms. Manana.
Shall I answer
Okay.
that first?
Yeah, please, Megan.
Okay, so I think yes, it is a challenge for insurance company, especially when the business is not registered and operate formally.
Yeah.
I think few of the strategies which insurance company can opt, like digital platforms can be provided, digital channels, platforms to reach MSME. They can use the proper, instead of using a proper traditional channel, they can use the digital channel. They can explore that. Tailored solution can be built for them. uh, you know, uh, 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 Customize insurance products which will address the specific needs. I think that is one of that. Government initiatives, monitor and participate in the government initiatives, which can be aimed at MSME, and that will lead to increase the access of formal financial service of the business. Partnerships, in doing a partnership with the insurance industry associations, chamber of commerce, microfinance institutions, making a relationship with these MSME, that will help reaching out to the larger audience.
Yeah. So I think Mega is right. There are so many things that one can do to kind of reach out even to the very small businesses. As you said, that many of them are not registered They are effectively, you can consider them as individuals who need, maybe there's the one entrepreneur who is just working with 2, 3 people, right?
Yeah.
So it is extremely small kind of a business, which is
Mhm.
akin to a kind of an individual who also needs an
Mhm.
insurance. So they need
Mhm.
to be treated. They're in that zone of between businesses and retail, where
Mhm.
I think, as Mega mentioned, that digital platform is also going to be very important. I think in insurance today, the importance of course, the insurance digital platforms may not be so amenable to customization, but increasingly what I see, especially in auto insurance, my personal experience of dealing with digital platforms, digital insurance companies have been very positive, and I have seen a significant cost reduction so far in digital platforms. So I think
Mhm.
this is something that is important, that to reach out to the smaller SMEs, the insurance companies should focus on digital platforms.
Mr. Gujarat, Mr. Chawadwala.
Yeah, so something regarding this, I think that creating awareness is the most effective approach should be taken on how to create more awareness about what ignorance by taking that, what would be favored. They would be
Mhm.
financially protected. This actually made them understand by various ways. I feel I think come across higher
Okay.
legislature, digital platform, other, reaching out to them by other ways and means. Maybe joining hands with government and social and broadcasting, do something more on, advertisements or some comment sessions. So, creating awareness, getting lower products, getting more cost of business, and obviously helping them transparently and quickly at the time of pay. We all do all these things, maybe over the years, we would be able to get more and more these guys on board. It won't happen overnight. It should happen overnight. So gradual growth is always, desirable. I think technology
Sure.
should help.
Sure. So before we close, I would need 30 seconds, parting thoughts from each one of you on topic today. We can begin with Mr. Jawadwala.
Yeah, so ideally, what I would feel is there should be ease of buying. One, it could be
Right.
digital, it could be this thing. Secondly,
Mhm.
we bundle the products only with when the loan is taken. I would feel that when I open a current account for any SME or anything, there at that point of time, there should be some compulsion to by the financial institute to have some more insurances. So that will how
Mm.
for the non-registered one also will move because an
Understood.
account opening becomes very mandatory. So that is one way which you can reach out to more this thing, larger
Okay.
audiences. Yeah.
Okay. Ms. Marana, your last 30 seconds thought.
So I think, as I said, that consulting a broker is very, very important because we are expert into that area. So take our consultation, we'll guide you better. We can create
Mhm.
awareness about the products. Digitalization is the way. Embedded insurance is the way. Usage-based products is the way. Giving them a flexible payment terms. I think
Mhm.
all these things are very, very important
Interesting.
when we reach out to MSMEs.
Okay. Mr. Chaudhary.
Yeah, I think as we just to summarize the discussion, adequate risk coverage is very critical for the continuity of the small businesses. They are so important for employment in the country. And so
Mhm.
to ensure minimal disruption, obviously risk coverage is critical. Now, all the stakeholders, as we discussed, not just the insurance companies, the government, industry associations, the lenders also, all the lenders to MSMEs, they should have appropriate policies to make sure that one, there is availability of insurance products, the insurance costs are affordable, and there are
Mhm.
innovative solutions, and there is a certain way we make sure that there is participation from whether we if even if we don't make it mandatory, we just
Mhm.
incentivize SMEs to participate and take basic
Understood.
coverage. I think that's very important.
Okay. Mr. Gujarat.
So, creating niche, lower products, tailor-made products, creating awareness, benefits of insurance, especially at the time of claim. These five, 6 points I foresee that should penetrate more. And I would also like this, to thank you and Reliance General Insurance for conducting this very important session. This is fairly, I would say, a neglected, territory because of maybe lower premiums. So I think it's a great initiative and would love to be part of it going forward in future as well. Thank you all.
Great. Great. I think that was a lovely interaction with a lot of insights around the insurance adoption among MSMEs. I hope this entire interaction drives further penetration among MSMEs in India. Thank you once again, Mr. Jawad Bala, Mr. Gujral, Mr. Chaudhary, and Ms. Marana for giving us your time and thoughts. I'm sure our audience will also benefit from it. Goodbye.
Thank you so
Thanks.
much.
Thank you so much. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Reliance.